Okay, welcome to Hybrid Diaries episode 15. I'm here with my co-host Blair, and we have on the show today Jonny and Damo. These are our Hyrox doubles machines. They've recently competed in Hyrox World Championships together. They've competed 3 times. And yeah, welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
All right, we are.
So, Jonny, Damo, you just got back from Nice a couple of weeks ago, and you got your best time yet. Obviously, with the pro weights in Hyrox. Talk to us. Let's first just go straight into your first Hyrox race. You did doubles together. That was in Dubai in September. Is that right?
No. So the first doubles race we did together was Dubai in February. Originally, my first race individual was in Dubai in September. And a rude awakening it was, but just got hooked on the sport straight away. And then Jonny approached me after Christmas, so around December, January, and said if I had any interest in the doubles. And so our first doubles was actually February in Dubai, yeah.
And how did it go?
Well, I can kick in there and say that open and pro is different, but then the individual and doubles is like chalk and cheese. So I had 2 very humbling experiences in the individual. But then when I went with Damo, we were really able to show off our running in the open in Dubai in February. There were a lot of questions asked of us. Why didn't we jump into the pro doubles in Dubai? We had a half marathon 2 weeks after that, so we knew that if we were pushing a 200 kilo sled, our legs would have been slightly compromised for that half marathon. So we decided to do open doubles in February, knowing that we were going to get another opportunity at the Doha Doubles Pro. And once we did that, we knew that we were all qualified for Nice. So then we had the kind of perfect preparation. We need Doha 4 weeks prior, and then obviously we already had another kind of learning curve in February. So 3 races together, we were very happy with the preparation.
Did you train together? Sorry, before you went to the doubles, and then since the first time you did doubles together, did you train after? Did you do any sort of synchro stuff or?
Yeah, so we trained quite a lot together. I think both of our partners were kind of getting worried at one stage because I was seeing Jonny a lot more than I was seeing her. But we trained quite a lot together, and to be honest, I think that's what gave us a really good advantage, particularly when we did our second race together, which was in Doha, and then when we went even further then to Nice in Worlds. Training together, knowing each other's strengths, and just kind of following each other in the running sections as well. Like if I was leading out the run or if Jonny was leading out the run, we kind of always knew that the other person wasn't far behind. So training together, I think, definitely helped us quite a lot. Because sometimes you hear some of the elites or even some of the pro doubles, you hear when they come from different countries and they haven't trained together much, and it mightn't click as well. But I certainly found with the 2 of us, because we had trained so much together, that everything just clicked on race day, particularly in Worlds.
I would say that we were probably Damo would even say this as well. We were probably one of the best doubles out there. I have this notebook full of Hyrox notes from the very first race that I did individually. I'd be a bit of a freak when it comes to this. I've just gotten obsessed with the sport. And we did a 22-week training program together, literally shoulder to shoulder, stride for stride. And we did a 5K time trial on week 3. And there was 2 seconds between us in that time trial. So we knew going forward that there was nothing between us. Damo was slightly stronger on the compound movements. And then we were able to kind of just work to our strengths, because in Doha we've seen, you know yourself, we see some of these CrossFit athletes coming into Hyrox, and their stations are very good, but yet they can't run a back. They struggle massively on the running side of things. But me and Damo literally were able to, if I struggled on a station, Damo was able to kind of, kick into gear on the next station, kind of drag me through that run part. There was nothing between us. Literally, I'd say the work was probably shared 50-50 across all races, except Doha. I struggled in Doha a little bit, but yeah.
Why do you think that was?
No, I genuinely think that we didn't do enough. I'd be very much an aerobic athlete. I found that I went anaerobic quite early on in the race, and I found my ears were beginning to pop. around the burpees. And that I knew that I had to tell Damo, it's up to you here. I'm afraid you're going to have to carry the load a little bit. From that kind of gave me the kick up the ass that I needed. Do a little bit more compromised training, a bit more anaerobic training, whether it be 200s on the track, 300s on the track, or even kind of more max efforts in the gym. But we didn't really hit Hyrox workouts. We 4 or 5 weeks ago until Nice. We kept everything quite separate. A lot of conditioning at the end of our programs. But yeah.
That's probably a massive advantage between you two and another set of athletes. If it was someone that you just jumped in with, you probably wouldn't be comfortable just being like, I'm really struggling here. I need you to do the work. That'd be a tough thing to say to someone you'd never trained with before or never done anything with,
You kind of have to leave your ego at the gate, and you could say that about a lot of gyms as well. But I guess when you're comfortable and you're training with someone for quite a while, you can safely say to them, I'm struggling here, will you finish out the burpees? Or I'm struggling here, will you pull another 100 on the row? And inside that they'll probably be cursing you, but you know that they're going to do it at the same time. And I think if I was to give any bit of advice to any doubles or anyone thinking of doing the doubles or starting the doubles, would be to leave your ego at the door as such. And if you are struggling, don't try and be the bigger person and try and push out the extra 2 or 3 meters on the sled just because you're almost there. If you are tired and you're feeling the lactate building up, just say to the partner here, would you mind finishing out, or roar at them if that is the case mid-race. But I think that'd be certainly one tip I'd give anyway.
So guys, just rewinding a little bit. So you said that you didn't do any real Hyrox training. Do you mean specifics of burpee broad jumps and simulations, that sort of stuff? You mean you were just doing running and compound lifts together?
Yeah, that was the first 8 weeks. It was very much compound lifts separate in the morning or in the afternoon, and then the double session to that would have been. So we didn't put any kind of running with the Hyrox style movements together probably until 4 or 5 weeks out from Nice. Because one thing that I've experienced before is I have overtrained. I did suffer from sleep paralysis when I used to compete from high volumes of training. And I wanted me and Damo to go into a race, if anything, slightly undercooked than overcooked. So 4 or 5 weeks out, that's when we kind of added in, the 2 sessions a week. The workout Wednesday was on a track. It was fairly intense. And then the Saturday or Friday, if needs be, would have been a Hyrox style WOD, whether that be broken up into 2 parts. And we never did a simulator in training because my biggest mistake, I would say that I prepared excellently well for my first individual Hyrox with my coach at the time. But the only mistake I made is I did a simulator. And that put me in a false sense of security, that I can run a 65, out of the blue. I was always very cautious with Damo, even though we probably wanted to do it. But again, as Damo said, that would have only been stroking our egos, going out, running the Ks really quickly on a treadmill at 330s, 340s. But again, you can't replicate a Hyrox. Hyrox is probably one of the toughest things that I've ever done, and probably the toughest thing that everyone on this call has done. It's extremely challenging. In terms of everything was kind of structured, it was periodized, it was built for the sole purpose of performing the best that we could on the day in Nice.
Nice. Coming back to you said you guys did a 5K together then, and you were 2 seconds apart. What sort of times were you running then? Was it outdoors? Was it hot? Or was it a little bit cooler? What sort of time were you running?
Damo?
I think that was late February, I think, was it? I think it was around that time in Abu Dhabi. It was outdoors. So we were part of a running group, and we'd kind of been building up to just, I guess, a 5K time trial. And like I said, it was outdoors. I think Jonny just pipped me in the last, I'd say, 100, 150 meters. I couldn't kick with him, but I think Jonny finished about 17:30, and then I was 17:33.
Nice.
So that would be, I guess, the last 5K time trial that we've done at the moment anyway. Yeah.
Solid. And then going back to your races then, so obviously you did Dubai, you did Doha, and then you went to Nice. Am I right in saying that you guys progressively got faster? And your first one was the open weights, right? You did pro in Doha. What was your time compared to Dubai and Doha, and obviously you bumped up to pro weights. Was there a big difference in your time?
So in Dubai, we did the Open and we did 54:03. And a lot of people, I know a lot of people around us, yeah, but that's Open. They won't do anything. They won't go sub 60 in the pro weights. I did pro weights. I know I can move them. Maybe I moved them a little bit slower than most people, but I definitely knew Damo would be able to move them because Damo was stronger than me. So we did 54:03 in Dubai, and then we stepped up and we did 56:53. Am I right? In Doha.
Yeah.
And then we knew from that look, it all depends on the course then in Nice whether we were going to be quicker, because I don't really like people saying, oh, my fastest time is 53 minutes, and then they say that in Berlin. You know, it's a different course. It's an outdoor course. It's 500 out, 500 back, and a bit of rock zone. So our goal was to go sub 60 in Nice, depending on the course. When we found out the sleds were slightly slow, we knew that it kind of took the pressure off us a little bit to go as quick as we wanted to go. But I do feel that as the days progressed, the carpet got easier, and I did find the weather on Sunday was far better than it was on the Friday and Saturday, and there was less people in the venue. So everything kind of suited us in that sense. We went faster than we did in Doha, in Nice. We did 55:55. We went over a minute quicker. It does come down to the training. We were physically in better shape. And if you look, I have the data in my my special book here, where it literally breaks down our running splits. Like when we did Dubai, we regressed in Dubai in the Open. In Doha, we did the same with a slight peak in around the burpees, but then we kind of regressed again. We started off fast and then we died. But I remember saying to you, George, on the walk back after, we're going to go slow. And you said, don't do it, lads, go off hard. Me and Damo were sitting down on the Friday.
But your strategy worked, right?
Our strategy worked. I'm glad to say that on this case, our strategy worked. So yeah, we were like, we made sure that our tactics, we were always going to follow what we set out, because we drilled it. Like, it was funny. Me and Damo were sitting in the hotel in Doha before Doha, and we both wrote down what we thought we were going to get. And we were both 20 seconds within our predicted time. I said 57:06, Damo said 57:12, and we did a high 56. And the same happened in Nice. We said, for best case, I said 55:40, and we ended up 55:55. So, like, you can say good coaching or good science, I'm not sure, or obsessiveness. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. And you two have known each other quite a while, yeah? You've been friends for a while. You trained together a lot before you started training for Hyrox, or is it just something that's new just because you got into Hyrox and then you become friends through that?
So I guess I first met Jonny through a running group and a running club that they have here in Abu Dhabi. So I ran the Abu Dhabi Marathon, was it 2 years ago at this stage? And then after that, a friend of mine suggested that I join this running group that Jonny was coordinating with another friend of ours. From there then, January 22, I started the running group. Started running with a lot of the lads and started running with Jonny for quite a while. And then from there, then I started getting into like CrossFit movements and stuff. Again, Jonny was kind of saying if you should give a CrossFit gym a go. It's something that I think you'd be good at. So started training with Jonny a little bit in terms of CrossFit movements and stuff like that. And then I guess it was around May or June of last year. This new sport or this new craze of Hyrox, some of the boys were talking about it in the gym, and started looking into that a little bit more, and then from there, I guess, started individually. As we mentioned already, I did my individual open in September, and Jonny gave the pro a go, and then the following January we started training for doubles and doubles open and doubles pro. But yeah, it's been great. Like, it's been great training together, and I find training with someone is great in terms of the accountability as much as anything else. You'll always push yourself, and I think both of us are quite stubborn as well. We did a workout there where it was a case of we to hit a certain amount of calories on different ergs.
Playing the workout,
it was a case of if either of us dropped the calories that we didn't reach at that minute, we both have to drop. And like I said, we're both kind of stubborn enough that, okay, I'm not dropping if he drops, this kind of thing. So that sense of competition between us is also very good.
Sorry, Jonny, we didn't quite get that. It broke up. What did you say?
Oh, I was saying that was we need to patent this workout. Yeah, no, I was just saying that was like Miko's triangle, but we kind of gave it like a Hyrox twinge to it. We took out the assault bike and we threw in wall balls instead. A little bit easier, but we did well.
Nice. What sort of calories were you targeting?
We hit the whole way. The whole way we went 18 and then we just stuck at that. I know a few people are targeting 20, which is phenomenal. What's your fastest, George?
I've done it before, not for a long time. I've done like 15, something like that. I've never tried to go more.
Excuse my ignorance. What's that? Sorry.
Nico's triangle is like a 45-minute. Might be mistaken. 40 or 45-minute EMOM of basically max calories for that minute. But once you drop, that's what you must maintain for the rest of the workout. It's a very famous CrossFit workout. It's a tough one.
So your signal keeps dropping in and out, Jonny. So you're.
Can I leave the call and come back in then?
I'll explain Blair here. So give it a go. Give it a go. So it's basically a 40-minute EMOM. Minute 1, 2, and 3, you do your set calories. Minute 4 is rest, and you repeat 10 rounds. You choose your calories and you hit that target, and you try and hit that target every time. Try it one day.
Got 2 Johnnies now.
Yep. Jonny's got a twin brother.
Is that better?
Is he? And you still there, Damo?
I'm still here anyway. Yeah. As of
you
now,
back, Jonny?
I'm still here, yeah.
Yeah, it says 29% on mine. I don't know what that means though.
No.
No.
Keeps dropping out.
Did you remember to pay the Wi-Fi bill?
Wi-Fi is good.
Fortunately, we're teachers, so we're kind of reliant on school Wi-Fi or network.
That's what I was going to wait for Jonny to come back on, but you can continue then, Damo. So you guys, you say you're teachers, right? Are you in a secondary school, primary? Do you specialise in a certain subject? Or?
Yeah, so I qualified as a primary teacher. So I'm teaching at an elementary level in the current school out here in Abu Dhabi. Currently just kind of as a year head or grade coordinator at the moment. So I've been out here in Abu Dhabi teaching for 3 years, but I've got another 5 years teaching experience at home. I think teaching certainly has definitely given me the opportunity to pursue other aspects in terms of fitness that I'm very much interested in, particularly Hyrox and running, and the hours of that allow me to do that. So I'm very grateful for the role and the job that I have, that it allows me to do that.
That's good to hear, to be honest. That's good that you're taking advantage of it in training, because a lot of people, especially teachers, can finish what they're doing, and I know it's an exhausting day, and you go, and the last thing sometimes you want to do is probably work out, but if you go and get it done, I think 9 times out of 10 you always feel better for it, don't you? So
absolutely, yeah. You never regret the workout that you don't start
Yeah. You're saying you did stuff at your running club. Obviously, I'm a running coach as well, so really interested to hear about what you did in terms of running performance. Would you say there was any I know I'm not a sort of clickbaity answer, but your staple runs that you would go to for your improvement of Hyrox? Any repeats or specific sessions you would visit time and time again, and you would say that was your bread and butter, so to speak?
I'd probably leave Jonny try and answer that. He'd probably give a lot more detail. Jonny is kind of the running coach of the group. Like I said, he generally coordinates it. But I guess at this stage, I've been involved in the running club so much and for so long and so consistently that, yeah, you kind of would see the same workouts coming up again and again. But we kind of structured, particularly in the early stages, like we mentioned earlier, that we kind of periodized our long program. And particularly at the start, we kept running at running sessions and gym as gym sessions. And our running, we kind of broke it down roughly to about 4, maybe 5 running sessions a week. Mm-hmm. Generally starting the week with a tempo run, anywhere between 8 and 10 kilometers. Again, then you'd have your running workout on a Wednesday, again between 8 and 10 kilometers roughly, including your warm-ups and your cool-downs. You usually get a recovery run in there, usually on Thursday, and then a long run at the weekend. So that was kind of usually what we kind of structured our running week towards. Kind of starting off, I'd say roughly at about 40 kilometers a week, which probably doesn't sound like a lot. Looking back and I guess moving forward onto next season, I certainly hope to be getting those numbers up, particularly in this off season. In the last kind of 4 weeks, maybe 4 to 6 weeks leading up to Doha and then continuing on to Nice, what I'm hoping to do this year, this coming season, is to start now in July, maybe August, and start from the get-go with 50 kilometers a week, and hopefully build from there.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Obviously, you're saying you're not the one programming it, but obviously you've been around there and you know what they're doing. Would you say like there's always a minimum you would hit for, say, your like long runs? Because I find like something that I try and get like people that I coach to do is make sure that you're getting that sort of 75 to 90 minutes long endurance run. Like maybe if you're doing 40, 50 kilometers a week, you're probably doing more than that. But like, is there something, a typical distance or time that you would say hit for your endurance sessions, like your endurance running sessions?
Yeah, usually you were kind of using the long run to kind of bank any more kilometers that you missed out perhaps during the week. But usually it was anywhere, I think the minimum we kind of went was about 16. So it's kind of roughly between 16 and 20 kilometers, or again, roughly 90 minutes. Like you said, it sounds pretty similar, but yeah, it was roughly 90 minutes and anywhere between 16 and 20 kilometers. Depending, like if you did miss out some kilometers earlier in the week, like we said, we usually finish the week with us there at the end.
So if you're doing, you said 17:33 5K, is that right? Did I get that number right?
Yeah.
So you're doing like around a 3, what's that pace for 3/4?
About 3:30, 3:31.
3:30. So you're doing that. So what would you say if you're doing 3:30 for your 5K? What are you doing your endurance run at? Sorry, that's bad maths.
Usually,
work it out.
I guess a lot of external factors like the weather as well. What we played a lot of importance on was heart rate zones. So we were trying to keep it in. So for the long runs, for example, it would be like zone 3. We didn't want to go so slow that it dipped down to zone 2. We kind of wanted to get the stimulus out of it, but we didn't want to push so much that we'd end up in orange or red zone, for example. So we wanted to get the stimulus out of the long run, but we didn't want to push too hard. So particularly when it was coming closer to the summer months, we found that we had to slow down a little bit, which was fine too. We didn't mind that too much. Or even what we noticed was definitely the time between Doha and Nice, we ended up going on treadmills because it was just too hot here in Abu Dhabi during the summer months.
Yeah, we feel you. Obviously, doing the exact same thing here, you know, I think that's something that we try and give to our athletes as well. Like, you've got to sort of run to feel. George was obviously going on about it a bit this week with, like, you know, you can have all the fancy things in the world, but ultimately it's about running to feel. And obviously sometimes you have to jump on the treadmill to get that quality. If you're going to try and hit a zone 3 run, and you're going in your heart rate zones, and then as soon as you step outside and it's 34 degrees at 6 a.m., like it's a bit of a tough one. So good to have, like, obviously that guidance for other people who are listening to think like, well, these guys are high level athletes and they're, you know, whatever the best in the world, and they're in the doubles and they're doing that. So hopefully they take some lessons to think, well, you know.
Yeah, I found definitely at the start, even possibly like around a year ago or maybe even 9 months ago, like a lot of my easy runs, I was going way too fast. And so some other people, some other coaches, running coaches that we'd know would ask, what pace are you doing your easy runs at? And I could be telling them maybe 4:45s, 5-minute kilometers. And like, that's still way too fast. I know now anyway that it is far too fast for me. Just again, because the heart rate was just a little bit too high. But I kind of always considered that, okay, if I'm running with someone and I can have a conversation with them, that's probably a little bit too fast than what you should be doing it. You should probably just have that pace in your mind and then slow down a little bit more. You know, like, as in what I've learned anyway, definitely over the last 6 months, having competed in Hyrox doubles, is the slow runs need to be slow. And it's very hard, especially like you said, for someone who is capable of doing around a 17:35K and someone who wants to go fast. It's hard to go slow. But I think even like with our tactics for the Worlds in Nice, and Jonny came to me and he said, okay, Damo, first kilometer we're going to go slow, and you're just like, oh, we've been training all year for this. I want to take off, like, and I remember talking to George like the couple of nights before, and you were saying just leave it all out there, and I was like, Johnny, are you sure we want to go like this? And you know, thankfully, our tactics kind of paid off in the end.
Yeah, that seems like it was your experience in training together that really paid off, mate. So guys, my laptop is going to die, so we are going to have to leave it very shortly. I've just going to see that Johnny's coming back on as well, but I've just got one more question. If he comes on, I know he's missed a bunch of it here. Can you hear us, Johnny? Cool. I was just saying we're going to have to wrap up very shortly because my laptop is going to die, and I'd hate to not be able to say bye. Obviously now it's off season. What are your goals for next season? Are you going to stick together and try and just get faster together, or have you got some individual goals? Yeah, where's both of your heads at?
Yeah, so I think I'm going to be of 2025. We're going to start training together again, and like you said, with the goal of trying to qualify for Worlds again.
Nice. Well, I'm sure, guys, you're going to have another great season. Like I said, it was your first season in Hyrox this year. Obviously, you've definitely learned a lot, as you've explained. Seems like you've got your tactics completely nailed. I would definitely advise sticking together, and I'm pretty sure you'll be up there on a podium at Worlds next year if that's the goal. Guys, thank you for coming on to the show. I really appreciate your time. I know you're both sat at work right now, and you've just cut out probably your lunch hour to have this call. So I'll let you go and have some lunch. And we'll see you hopefully very soon.
No worries. Take care. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.